book of Philemon, or
Philemon.
Philemon? Okay. Philemon. That's how it works, you know. It's this letter from Paul's writing Philemon about the same time that he wrote the church in Galatia. My biblical knowledge, y'all, is lacking, but there's a message here that just blew my mind. He's writing in Philemon, he's saying, and telling him that he found his slave, and that his slave found Christ, and he's vouching for him. So I'm coming from from Onesimus' perspective, you know, because Onesimus was a slave that ripped his boss off and burned out, and apparently got busted. And he runs into Paul, who he knows is the captain that helped Philemon find God. And he's like, wow, I can't get away anywhere. You know, and I can relate to that, because I've been the dude that's been on the run and nowhere to go, and then run into somebody that knows where I came from. And that shame was there, and that just, oh man, I can't go away from this at all. But Paul didn't judge him. Paul taught him how to be forgiven, and then Paul forgave him. When he accepted Christ, Paul forgave him and accepted him as a brother. I don't know about y'all, man, but in my life, that's happened here recently to me. I'm going to tell you a story about how I met Paul. This Paul, not that one. I was in the Pulaski unit in Houston, Texas, looking for a mentor. And a brother of mine in white, not polo, but white, was getting these newsletters from this church up here. Y'all might recognize the church. No doubt. And I'm like, that dude writes you all the time? He's like, yeah, he tells me what's going on and tells me what's on in church, and he's pretty regular. And I'm like, you think he'd be a mentor? And he's like, what's a mentor? I was like, well, I need somebody that's living this deal, man, because I'm fixing to go home eventually. And I want to learn from somebody that's walking this walk. And he's like, man, you can write and ask him. That was, what, 3 years ago?
Wow.
And,
Great job.
you know, I started writing him, and he started telling me everything they had going on, and what this church was doing, and what he was part of, and how every day his walk was filled with God's grace. And I was blown away, and I was like, this is who I want to grow up and be. You know, maybe with not as much responsibility. And that's what Paul was doing in the story. I mean, I was going to read this all the way through, but and I hope Bill can keep up with me. In verse 4 of the letter of Paul to Philemon, he says, I thank my God always when I remember you in my prayers, because I hear of your love and your faith, and of the faith that you have toward the Lord Jesus and for all the saints. And I pray that the sharing of your faith may become effective for the full knowledge of every good thing that is in us for the sake of Christ. All the songs this morning, all the words that I've heard today, has been about God's grace.
Amen.
You know, if I had planned and tried to predict where I would have been, where I'm at today, 8 months ago, I'd sold myself short. There's no way. This time last year, the white that I was wearing was state made. It was from head to toe, and it was heavy, and it was hot, and it was uncomfortable, and it was mandatory. My girl steam pressed my shirt for me last night. That's God's grace. You know, it's about, I've gone from being useless, completely just utterly useless. I was a liar, a thief, a cheat, to being a servant of God's grace.
Amen, amen.
You know,
Right.
And the reason I use the word useless is I just found out that the word Onesimus means useful.
Wow.
In verse 10 and 11, it says, Paul says, I appeal to you for my child Onesimus, whose father I became in my imprisonment. Formerly he was useless to you, but he is now indeed useful to you and to me. God has shown me since the day I walked out of prison that if I'm willing to serve him and do what he puts in front of me, he's got me.
That's right.
You know, it doesn't matter. You know, I was like, and I don't mean to turn this into so much of a testimony, but it's what it is.
That's right.
And that's how I relate to this book so strongly.
That's right.
I think it's Tychius that Paul sends Onesimus with back to Cleveland. He talks about in Cleveland. And I can just imagine that Onesimus is going with this dude thinking, you know, we're really not going to be accepted well when we walk in here because I've just stole all this dude's stuff. And they're probably going to want to hang me. And they're not going to take time to read this really cool letter that this dude that doesn't even know me vouches for me. And he's one of the biggest people in the church. Man, I can relate to that. Because I walked up to the event of my mom passing thinking there was no way I was going to make it through it. And God put people in my life that had my back, that lifted me up and told me that God was bigger than this and I was strong enough to deal with it.
Amen.
And I was sitting there.
Oh, God.
I was sitting there thinking, I wish my mom could see this. And God said, duh, she's watching, right? She's got a better camera than that. You know? And that's about somebody, a Christian brother vouched for me. And I got to know some other Christian people and some other Christian family. And they vouched for me. And I did what God put in front of me. Onesimus went with the dude and went and owned up to what he did. He was willing to be of service. Paul assumed that it was all good because he knew where Philemon was coming from. He knew what Philemon's base was. When we as a church body vouch for somebody and they step up to do whatever they're being vouched for, the people that we send them to know that these are people of good character because our church sent them.
Sure.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know, the introduction on this in this Bible, in this SCV, it says that Philemon is about reconciliation and relationships between Christians. I couldn't have made it this far without the redemption that God's put in my life. Without being able to hear that no matter what's happening in front of me, you know, I got this shirt that says that the challenge in front of me is never bigger than the power behind me.
That's right. That's right.
And Paul says, this brother is useful.
That's right.
I'm sending him to you so you can decide to forgive him. That you can use him and find out how useful he is now that he's a child of Christ. Now that he's claimed to be forgiven under the blood.
Good.
You know?
Preach it.
He says, if you consider me your partner, this is verse 17, receive him as you would receive me. If he has wronged you at all or owed you anything, charge it to my account. I write this with my own hand, I will repay it. And that blows me away, because now, you know, I mean, the dude showed up, he's a runaway slave into the deep. He gives his life to Christ, and Paul's like 100% in for him. And Onesimus is probably sitting there going, how did I get here? Now, the last thing I was thinking was going to happen is that I'm going to spend the rest of my life in prison. And that's me talking, not Onesimus. You know, the last thing that Onesimus probably thought was, oh, they're going to hang me. And all of a sudden, there was a pickup truck in the parking lot that my mom won't me before she passed. And Onesimus is going to Galatians to serve the Lord, forgiving. You don't think that cat knows about grace?
That's right.
And about mercy? Grace is unmerited favor. Undeserved. I mean, cause I was like, unmerited, that means nobody really notices it, right? And that's not what it means. It means undeserved.
That's right.
Guilty. I qualify for that. If I got what I deserved, by man's opinion, I'd still be wearing white. And please remember my brothers and white and sisters in white that are down there, because it's hard enough to be down there as it is, but with this coronavirus, they're still eating Johnnies, which are sack lunches 3 times a day, sometimes 2 times a day, depending on the unit. They can't go around, and if you don't have people that can set up a phone that can afford phone calls, you're all on your own. And when you're in that kind of environment, if you don't have positive, centered, focused people that are powered by the will of God, it's going to be a rough time. I got blessed, I mean, really blessed on the last unit that I was on, because I was in a faith-based dorm. So I was surrounded by believers. I was just surrounded by a whole dorm full of Onesimus. You know? And God's grace and glory is that we got people in prison. There's supposed to be a faith-based dorm on every yard.
Right.
Do you know how many prisons there are in Texas? Okay, do you know how many people that means that we're trying to bring to Christ? To strengthen their walk, so when these cats get out, they can do what we're doing.
Right.
So that's why I hooked up with Paul, because I wanted to do what he was doing. Because God, at one point in time, in the darkest point in my life, God said, man, if you will use your past to my glory, I got you.
Wow. That's good. Good word.
And it's like, man, I was telling somebody I care really lot about the other day, or actually I think it was last night, about how many times my faith has carried me through something just because I had to believe somebody else believed. The gift in that is I get to be the person that believes for somebody else.
Yes.
Sure. Hearing.
You know, and you know, I got this picture, I should have given it to you earlier. It was my mom and my dad and my grandfather and my grandmother the year before I was born.
Wow.
And you gotta tell everybody this is the earliest picture of me. I'm still believing in my father's eyes. I know you can't see it on the little camera, but it's a really old picture. God has restored so much in this useful person's life. And I don't hesitate to call myself useful anymore. Sometimes I definitely feel underqualified, you know, but God said that if I'm a Christian, then I'm qualified.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, the only requirement is to believe, confess, and to go forth. And if it wasn't for Christian brothers and sisters coming forth, I used to get letters and newsletters and cards from y'all that kept me going forth.
Right.
You know, even when it seemed the dimmest and the darkest, you know, when set off after set off after set off, and you're like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. Sometimes the answer is wait. But like I said, if I had planned this out, if I had tried to tell you how this was going to work, I'd sold myself short.